Yeah, thank you. I guess something that's difficult for our constituents is when we've got two pieces of work coinciding, so we've got existing use rights and variation 48, and the problem is our community's caught up in this whole triangle with insurers. It's kind of, it means when people would like their houses lifted, that it's not always the case. Well, is there any way we can reconcile these?
Well, the thing is that at the moment you've got the operative district plan in use, which has variation 48, which is no longer a variation now. It's a plan change, and the operative plan has changed. This proposed plan, the sooner it gets out there, the sooner you can have notification on it, the sooner there'd be submissions and further submissions and hearings and decisions delivered on these chapters. And then these chapters would replace the operative plan chapters. So, for example, if these chapters were notified sooner, were heard and decisions released by the end of the year, for example, then those chapters, as long as there were no appeals on them, would become the operative plan chapters to be used and for consents to be assessed against. They would replace the existing chapters.
But they wouldn't replace existing use rights. So,
no.
So people would still have existing use rights. And in the case of the insurance companies, we're talking about an insurance company stepping into the shoes of the landowner and exercising the rights that the landowner has got. So if the landowner's got existing use rights, the insurance company or the contractor putting up the structure can rely on those existing use rights. The district plan review isn't going to take those away. We are, however, only talking about the RMA. We're not talking about the Building Act. So under the Building Act, if there is if the dwelling's being replaced, the Building Act still requires the floors to be at the level required under the building code,
which is a 1 in 50 year event, flood event plus a 400mm freeboard. So it's still requiring that raising up to occur, just not to the extent of, in many cases, to the 1 in 200.
Quick question about to Brent about rely on. To me, that's a key part of this. Insurance companies rely on. So, in the full knowledge that existing use rights are there, so I mean, you say they take the place of the landowner. So it always remains their call is paramount rather than.
Well, the existing use rights apply to the activity.
Yep.
So the activity that we're talking about is the dwelling and the residential use of it. So it's that which has existing use rights. Now, if the structure is being rebuilt, then the existing use rights apply to the structure that was there before the earthquake and the right to rebuild it when it's been damaged in an earthquake. So that's the right for which someone has existing use rights.
That person has that right.
Now, when someone enters an insurance contract with an insurer, it's those contractual terms that decide who makes the call on what level a house is going to be rebuilt at under that insurance contract.
And can I ask how Plan Change 48 speaks into that?
Plan Change 48
which would enable them to actually lift the house?
Well, what Plan Change Variation 48 did was simply introduce some flood provisions into the district plan that weren't there before. That's what it was, just a plan change like any other plan change. It brought in these flood management areas. It brought in a requirement for resource consent to do particular things. But as for any change to a plan under the RMA, it doesn't take away existing use rights.
So if we're going to make insurers lift houses, it would simply come back to insurance advocacy, if anything, probably, because it's not going to work.
Change to the building code.
Right, okay.
Okay, what I'm going to suggest we do before we shift on to the next area is take a 5-minute break because Pauline went and got coffee and didn't get us.
Madam Chair, I've asked for afternoon tea to be brought up now.
You
if that
do
satisfies
amazingly good things. Thank you, Brigitte. So what do you reckon, guys? 10 minutes? 10? Yep, I know, so we'll time it, we've timed it for that. So you only get to miss 20 minutes, yep.
So when do we come back?
10
Madam
minutes,
Chair?
10 minutes, guys.